Happy Thursday, everyone. We have a fun little work set going on for you today. A little couplet. It's going to be a fun one. Just a little bit of interval work so we get some rest, but we'll talk about that momentarily. Before we get to that, our warm-up today is going to consist of a plank to down dog for 3 to 5 reps, Scap push-up for 5 to 10, plank lean for 6 to 10, alternating at a 2 to 3 second hold per side, prone shoulder raise for 10 alternating reps. So again, working on those individual arms, 1 to 2 rep per second holds, and a tuck hollow with extension for 20 seconds of just dynamic movement. 2 to 3 rounds here, just getting everything set and ready to go. Then we're going to move into our next phase, which is a half Turkish get up for 5 a side, leg pro and retraction for 5 per side, hollow hold for 10 seconds, hollow up for 10 reps, and then a humeral glide to knee push-up for 3 to 5, so you get to roll around the floor for a little while. We'll hit that up for 3 to 5 rounds, and then we're going to get ourselves ready for the work set. So the work set today is going to consist of every 3 minutes. Your clock timer is going to be set 3 minutes for 5 rounds. So the total time frame of the work set is going to be 15 minutes. So every 3 minutes, you're going to take down 1 minute max rep burpees. Oh yes. All right, so as many burpees as you can get in a minute, and then you're going to do 5 Turkish get-up sit-ups per side, and then you're going to rest for whatever time frame you need to. So you're going to go hard on those burpees for a minute, and then you're going to work on some good quality on the Turkish get-up sit-ups, and then you're going to rest for that time frame. You're going to repeat, repeat, repeat. So it's a nice little interval style work set. Let's try and shoot for hitting about the same amount of burpees every round, all right? Give or take a few reps, all right? But we have to remember that the Turkish get-up sit-up is a little bit more about slowing things down, working for quality, and working on letting that heart rate come down. So it's kind of like your active recovery movement set before your actual rest, all right? So let's get you guys ready to go. We'll have some fun today, and we'll see where this one takes us. All right, you guys, let's get ourselves ready to go. Let's get our feet underneath those hips. We're going to take the arms big and tall. We're going to reach over to one side, and come back up and over, and reach to the other side. Come back up, we're going to shrug it. Come back down with the arms, and then forward fold. We're going to touch those toes. Walk at the shins. We'll come down, framing the foot. Step back into our lizard. From here, we're going to take that inside hand all the way up. Bend at the elbow and reach straight ahead and pull back. Straight ahead and pull back and straight ahead and pull back. We're going to reach up and we're going to pull it all the way to the floor if you can. Taking it all the way back up to the sky. Planting that hand, grip the floor, and we'll step back into our down dog. Setting those shoulders, just walking those heels again, just working them out from earlier this week. Prepping them for those little hops we're going to do during the burpees. And then from here, we'll come back, move into that plank, nice solid position. We'll step that other foot up. Nice and square in those hips. We'll take the inside hand up to the sky, bend at the 90, reach straight ahead, pull back, straight ahead, pull back, straight ahead, pull back. We'll reach up, rotate, form to the floor if we can. Come back up, big stretch. Plant the hand, step it back into the down dog, setting that good overhead position. Just walk those heels back and forth, nice and steady. Just waking things up. And we'll come back into that plank again, and then tiptoe those feet up. Roll ourselves all the way up, big stretch. Reach to one side, reach to the other side. Come back down with those hands. We'll get you guys fired up, ready to go, all right? So let's pause the video if you'd like to do some more gentle cool down, warm up, and we'll get you guys ready to go. So if you want to bust out some more lizard lunge, some cat-cow, some wrist work, because we are spending some time on those wrists with the burpees, please pause the video, take that down, and then come join me for some upper body work sets. So, what we got for you guys, classic plank to down dog. So I'm going to get myself in the profile into this nice solid plank. So my hands are under my shoulders, gripping the floor with those hands, pulling the ribs and hips into that good solid position. I'm just going to work on pulling back into the down dog. Softening my knees and ankles, my armpits look towards the toes, and then I'm going to come back into my plank, pulling the ribs and hips in, armpits towards the toes. We're going to pull back again, maintaining that good, strong shoulder position, and then come back in, pulling the ribs back into that hollow and that solid plank. So what we need to really focus on again is setting that shoulder, setting that arm and that lat engagement, so as we start to go into that down dog, that arm and shoulder stays nice and stable the whole time, and we have that space through the upper back, and we're not creeping in on ourselves, jamming ourselves up in the shoulder. So we want to make sure we have a neck, and the easiest and best place to set that is in our plank. So make sure we're set before we move into our down dog. Moving on from the plank to down dog, what we have is our scap push-up, and you can do this from your knees or your toes. So from the knees, we're going to get set up in our tabletop, and we're going to get ourselves pulled in with the ribs, just like we would if we were setting up for our quad plank. So we pull it in, press the shoulders up, and keeping the arms straight, we're going to pull the shoulders together and press up. Pull the shoulders together, press up, and pull the shoulders together and press up. From the plank, it's the same thing. We pull everything in, good solid plank, and then we actively pull the shoulders together and press up. But a few key points we really have to focus on is maintaining that good strong position through the midsection as we pull our shoulders in, so we can't let everything sag and go as we focus our attention on the shoulder. Likewise, we can't let ourselves dump into the elbow and let it bend as we do that nice straight arm scap push. So if you're kind of having trouble with that, take it to the knees, work through the knees to get the shoulders ready. As a bridge to the toes, you can work on tabletop, and you can work on extending a leg, which is going to put a little bit more pressure through the shoulders and require a little bit more stability through the midsection. So you can challenge yourself by extending one leg, doing a couple reps, switching feet, and then doing a couple more reps to balance it out per side. Okay, so it's going to challenge your midsection just a little bit more. Our next exercise is going to come back into that plank. We're going to work our plank lean. And I want you guys to really focus on staying square. So I'm going to go facing you guys on this one. We're just working on the two directions today. So same idea, we're going to grip our hands into the floor, shoulders pressed to the ceiling. I step into my good plank position, pulling my ribs and hips in. I'm trying to keep my shoulders and body completely square to the floor, and that includes my hips and my midsection. So my hips and my torso move from my shoulders. The shoulders initiate, everything else follows. It's not hips initiating, all right? It's shoulders, shoulders, actively pressing to the ceiling the whole time. Challenging movement, so really focus in, and you're gonna hold 2 to 3 seconds per side. So I want you guys to really take the time to really work on that square body position to build that strength. Prone shoulder raise comes up next, so I'm going to go back to the floor. I'm going to lay down for a little bit. I'm going to bring my hands out front, and my toes are together pressing into the ground. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, pull my ribs in, press my armpits down, and press my hands down. And this is going to get a nice overall body tension going. And then from here, I'm going to maintain this tension, lifting my right arm, keeping the armpit down towards the floor, and lower. Lifting the left arm, and then lower. And in between those reps, I want you to make sure that you're reestablishing that tension through the arm that just lifted, so that when you go to lift the other arm, that arm is free to do the movement, and it's not relying on that upper body to do a little extra work. So make sure we're setting, lift, set, lift, and make sure we're taking our time through those. Extremely challenging. So if you'd like to do a couple reps, shake it out and rest. Do another couple reps, shake it out and rest. Please take it down. Our last exercise, we get to roll on our back, and we're going to work on our compression strength. So we're going to take a nice big long stretch, which will feel really nice after those prone shoulder raises. Then we're going to bring our hands down the side of the body. We're going to pull our ribs and hips together and pull our shoulder and our knees close together as we can. So pulling all that nice and tight together, we're going to try and keep them nice and close together as we extend our legs strong, trying to get them as straight as we can. Challenging those hamstrings to get a little hamstring chug. So work on that position, you guys, really focusing on that compression through the ribs as we work on just nice, smooth extension through the legs. Don't worry about rushing those reps. You got 20 seconds to get as many reps as you can, but I don't need to see like tons of reps. I just want to see good extension, good control, and pull back in. So you may only get 3, 5, maybe reps in there, and that's okay. That's totally fine. But challenge yourself, have some fun with that one. It's going to burn, and work on those hammies after yesterday's adventure. Quick recap, we have a plank to down dog for 3 to 5, Scap push-up for 5 to 10 reps. We have a plank lean for 6 to 10 alternating reps, 2 to 3 second holds. Prone shoulder raise, 10 alternating reps, and a 1 to 2 second hold per side. Tuck hollow with extension, 20 seconds of just dynamic movement, 2 to 3 rounds. Pause the video, take that down, get those shoulders good and ready, that core nice and set. We're going to move into the next phase, which is going to continue to get those shoulders ready to go, and we're going to work a little bit of rotation. So what I'm going to do is grab my mat and my dumbbell, get myself ready for my half Turkish get-ups. So the mat is more just there for my knee. It's a hard floor, so if you have a yoga mat or a soft floor, that's fine. Just rock that knee. But for me, I want to have my knee on that mat just to give myself some padding. Knee over top of the heel, back knee, hip, shoulder. My toe is curled under. Hips are square. I'm going to squeeze my glutes, but not enough to make my pelvis tuck under like we do for that stretch. I just want to engage them so I stabilize my pelvis. Now this movement, if you're going to load it, is going to be relatively light. The leg that's in front will be the hand that goes in the air and or the loaded hand. We're going to keep pressing that arm to the ceiling and keep that armpit facing forward. So as I hinge down, lowering to the side, my armpit stays facing forward the entire time. So I'm in that good position, nice and stacked, and then I come back up, and my arm is already in that good overhead position. The key thing here, as we're doing this, focusing on this armpit, you want to watch out that it's not rotating inwards as I start to lean, to counteract, to balance out some kind of mobility issues or some strength issues. So with this, setting that position, take it to where you feel comfortable, all right? Pushing that arm up, really focusing on that tension, and you can do this with no load or load, depending on where you're at with that control of the shoulder. So we have 5 per side. I personally like to hold for a second at the bottom and hold for a second at the top. So take your time trying to rush those because balance is also an issue. We want to make sure that we're not falling over or losing balance, especially if you have a load over our head. Our next exercise, we'll use a dumbbell as well, or not, depending on how controlled or strong you feel in this position. But we're going to lay on our back and we're going to work on our protraction and retraction of the shoulder. We did this last week. Very cool little exercise, very subtle exercise. Very similar to our Scap push-up, but we're going to use a little bit of load and on our back. So our feet are flat. We're going to pull our ribs and hips in so there's no space between the back and the floor. The dumbbell is going to be in the bottom of my floor press position. So I'm set up, ready to press. My other hand is going to be out for stability. I'm going to press the dumbbell up to the sky so the dumbbell is over top of my shoulder. My shoulder is still in contact with the floor. Now I'm going to press the shoulder off the floor and push the dumbbell up. And now keeping the elbow straight, I'm going to pull the arm back in contact with the floor. Push and pull. We're not trying to lose contact with the floor with the torso. So I'm not trying to rotate my body up like a Turkish get-up sit-up. I'm just pushing the dumbbell straight up, keeping my body square, and then pulling it back in. You can choose to do this one unloaded as well, and it will just as much be a challenge in terms of keeping that body nice and tight. So we set, and then we push, and then we pull, keeping that arm straight. I like to go relatively slow with this and keep a nice smooth tempo, so we're not jerking the arm around. We want to make sure it's smooth and controlled. Take your time with those. We got 5 per side, loaded, unloaded. All right, reset the position in between the arms to make sure our core is ready and stable. After that, we're going to work on a hollow hold and a hollow up. So they're going to flow right into each other. So I lay on my back, nice and stretched. I can work on pulling both hands and feet off the floor as I pull my ribs in and my hips in. It's going to push my low back into the floor, pulling my feet and my shoulders off the ground subtly, and I'm going to reach those arms up overhead in that good overhead position. I'm going to hold that for 10 seconds. Or I'm going to work on pulling the ribs and hips in, which again will close the distance between the back and the floor, and I'm going to lift both hands and shoulders and one foot so I can maintain that contact. This is more important than having both feet in the air. So you do 5 seconds and 5 seconds. That low back contacted with the ground is super important, so make sure that's your primary focus first, and then over time we can get those 2 feet up in the air. Once we're done our 10-second hold, we're going to turn that into a dynamic movement, and we're just going to pulse for 10 reps. We're going to pull the ribs in, squeeze and dim, squeeze and dim, squeeze and dim. You can do that as well with a single leg. So we squeeze down, and work 10 total count reps. If being in that overhead position is too much, in terms of it takes away from that hollow position, you can bring the hands down the side like a front lever, and we can do the same engagement, just keeping the hands down the side, which will allow us to focus more on getting that hollow first, and then we can start to play with where the arms are, because the more overhead we get, the more challenging it's going to be to maintain that hollow position. So build yourself up, take your time in those varying degrees, and set yourself up to challenge, but to be successful. Our last exercise in this work set is our humeral glide to knee push-up. And again, this is just to reinforce our push-up position for the burpee. So we're going to lay on our belly. Hands are going to be underneath the elbows, and hands are going to be just outside the shoulders. I'm going to pull my shoulders forward. I'm going to pull them back. Ribs and hips pull in. Press to my knees, maintaining that good tight core position in my active shoulder. I'm going to lower chest to the floor first, and then relax. So I lower with control, making sure my chest touches, and I finish in this nice tripod. So my chin is in front of my hands, and my hands are stacked under my elbows. So again, shoulders forward, shoulders back, ribs, hips, press, and then lowering with control, hitting that good position, and relax. You can add a tempo into that if you like, or you can work on that isometric hold, an inch or 2 off the floor, to build that nice hollow strength and that press position before we start pressing all the way up. So have some fun, play with it. We've got 3 to 5 reps, see where you want to go. Maybe you want to just work on that isometric hold, and that's okay. I'm down with that. Isometric holds are great, and they're very challenging. So as a quick recap, what we have is a half Turkish get-up for 5 aside, laying pro and retraction for 5 aside, hollow hold, 10 seconds, hollow up for 10 reps, and then a humeral glide to knee push-up for 3 to 5. 3 to 5 rounds, get yourself ready to go, fired up, and then we're going to tackle the work set. So pause the video, we're going to go through those 2 movements in the work set and get you ready for action. So our 2 movements in the work set are burpees and Turkish get-up sit-up. 2 things we've done quite often in workouts recently, especially with those Turkish get-up sit-ups. Fan favorite, I love them, they're challenging, and they're great for shoulder stability. Now the burpee, also a fan favorite. I know how much you all love burpees. So we're going to show you a couple different options for the burpee. We have our full burpee, where I come down with my hands and jump or step my feet back, touch my chest, and finish with that little clap. I can also bring my hands down, I can step lower, and step up, or any combination of those 2. I can jump back, step back, jump up, whatever you like to do with that. The biggest thing is we're trying to incorporate our humeral glide to knee push-up position on both the lower and the press up. We also have our squat thrust, which is a non-push-up option. It's very challenging as well. So we come down with the hands, we lock the arms in place, we jump the feet into a plank, we jump our feet in, and we finish in the same way. I can also come down, lock the arms in, step, and step, or any different combination of those 2 things as well. The big thing with that squat thrust is making sure that we maintain that good plank position and my shoulders stay over my hands the entire time. The lower body moves independently when my upper body is locked in place when I jump my feet in and out or step in and out. So we really have to fight the urge to go into that down dog and come forward. So no rocking back and jumping in. Challenge yourself with those. Pick the one you want. Neither is better nor worse. I can tell you from doing many squat thrusts. Squat thrusts are quick. You can get those squat thrusts pretty fast and cycle through those reps pretty quick. So if you're like, I kind of want to do that today, I want to go for it. Awesome. Rock the squat thrust, even if you normally do burpees. All right, but if you want to work on that full burpee, tackle that down. You have a minute to do what you can. So focus maybe on form today with those burpees and see how that treats you. All right, just to challenge that burpee just a little bit differently. Now, Turkish get up, sit up. I'm going to grab my dumbbell and I'm going to set myself up on the floor, laying down on my back. The leg that's up is going to match the arm that has the dumbbell or the arm that's up. My other arm is going to go on a 45 degree, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down with this arm, press down with this foot, and press up with this dumbbell all at the same time. I'm going to lean into my elbow, so I'm going to come over to my arm, my shoulders stacked over the top of my elbow, and I can stop here, or I can go up to my hand. And then I come back to my elbow, and then I control the body down. That's one. And I'll do that again. Set, over to the elbow, perhaps to the hand. The arm is in the overhead position. Come down, and come down. Now this is a challenging exercise, with or without load. So if you find that movement hard without load, don't use load today. Use it, get the movement smoother, getting into that kind of roll to the side, and make sure you're comfortable with that. I'm going to show you one rep from the front so you guys can see what I mean by that roll to the side. So my arm is up, I press, and you'll notice I come to the side. I'm not trying to sit straight up. I'm leaning into this arm, so my arm is stacked, my elbow and shoulder are stacked, and then I can come back up, and now I'm sitting square. I come back to the arm, and then I come back down. So there is a little bit of rotation in that movement. So embrace it. It'll help get you to that side and keep that arm, I should say, pointing to the ceiling. Now the workout today, every 3 minutes for 5 rounds. You're going to do max burpees in a minute, and then you're going to take down 5 Turkish get-up sit-ups per side, loaded or unloaded, and then you're going to rest the remaining time. Breathe, recover, so that when that beeper goes again, you can hit those burpees hard. Right? So have fun with this with you guys. Challenge the burpee a little bit different. Maybe do squat thrusts and go faster. Maybe do burpees and go a little slower per se if you normally do squat thrusts, but you want to practice the burpee in a workout. This is a nice opportunity to do so because it's 60 seconds. Do what you can, right? So take it down, have some fun with this with you guys. I'm super excited to hear about this one. I like workouts like this because you're just trying to maintain consistency and challenge and pick your adventure for what you want to get out of the workout today. So as always, thinking about you a ton, work for quality, have fun with this one, you guys. We're going to come back on Friday with another cool little work set for you guys. So I'm looking forward to closing out the week with a couple of nice, fun little speedy ones, we'll say. Have a great day. We'll talk to you very soon.